Welcome to the Finance Marketing Podcast, a show that empowers finance professionals to market their businesses in ways that feel good and actually achieve results. I'm your host, Hillary. I've been working with folks in financial services to develop marketing strategies that work and create results-oriented marketing content since 2020. And I've learned a lot about what works in finance marketing, what doesn't work, and where financial services pros get stuck. Join us each Friday as we explore real, effective ways to market your finance business and connect with folks who truly embody your ideal clients. Welcome to this bonus episode. My guest this week is Emeri Johnson. Emeri is a paraplanner at Carson Wealth Management, and she is currently pursuing her financial planning degree and CFP certification while actively shaping the future of the profession. Emeri is a really impressive financial planning student. She serves nationally as a Next Gen Advisory Board member with the FinServ Foundation and has contributed to the industry as a panelist at Wealth Management Edge, a research collaborator with Advisor Smart, and a featured voice in Financial Services Institute and wealthmanagement.com. And I met Emeri at Nitrogen's Fearless Investing Summit earlier this year in February. We actually sat on a bus together as we were being taken to Meow Wolf in Denver for kind of after conference evening fun. And I was just really, really impressed by this financial planning student who has such a big vision for herself and for the future of the industry. And so I wanted to bring her onto the podcast because she had a really great idea. She wanted to have the chance to share with other advisors what Next Gen advisors are really looking for and hoping for as they enter this industry. I think most people can agree that the attrition rate of new advisors entering the industry is far too high. Younger new advisors come on the scene. It's really, really hard for them to get traction and to feel supported. And so they end up leaving the industry, which is a real problem for industry veterans who are looking for succession plans and who are looking for people to send clients to that aren't a good fit for them at the moment, and all of these different things. And so Emeri brings something that is really genuinely, I think, rare to this podcast, which is a firsthand inside view of what it's like to be a next gen advisor entering this industry right now. So we're going to get into what young advisors are truly looking for from the firms they join, which is not out of this world. The specific mistakes that seasoned advisors make that are driving next gen talent out the door, and what it looks like to build the kind of mentorship culture that makes people want to stay and grow. Now, I know some of you are maybe wondering what this has to do with marketing, and I would argue it has almost everything to do with marketing, because your ability to attract and retain next-gen talent as you grow is increasingly becoming a part of your firm's brand. And the advisors who understand what this next generation needs and build their firm culture around it are going to be the ones who stand out, who have a succession story to tell, and who are positioned to grow well into the future. So whether you are thinking about bringing on a junior advisor or mentoring a student in your free time to give back, or you simply just want to understand the generation that's going to inherit your clients someday, this episode is for you. I promise you will be so impressed by Emeri. So without further ado, let's dive in. Emeri, I'm so pleased to have you here with me on the Finance Marketing Podcast today. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm very excited to be here and to meet with you and talk about these things.
Me too. It's so fun to have a young up-and-coming person in this industry to talk about what next-gen advisors are really looking for as they move into this industry, and how seasoned advisors can meet them where they're at and meet those needs in order to develop and bring in the next generation. So I want to start us off with a really interesting statistic, which is that the average age of financial advisors in the United States is in their mid-50s. It's 55 to 56. A lot of advisors in this industry are starting to think about their retirement plans and their exit and succession planning. And so next-gen advisors play a really big role into that. So I wanted to bring you on here because not only are you a college student who is in a financial planning program and you're planning on going into the financial advice industry, but you're also part of a really, really great, could I call it a foundation or organization in this industry called FinServ. Can you tell us a little bit about FinServ and what their mission is and how they work to develop next gen advisors?
Yes, of course. I am so passionate about the FinServ mission. I serve on their next gen advisory board, and I feel like that's given me a deeper look into what the organization is doing. So there's three main things that FinServ is targeting with the industry. They're trying to help provide more coaching. We do monthly webinars where we just get to have guest speakers come on and really bounce ideas off each other, get personalized feedback on these different areas of coaching. And then they'll pay for us to attend an industry conference, and they cover everything. So really it's no hassle on our end. We're broke college students, so it means a lot to be able to not only get the opportunity, but have it fully be covered. And then they pair you with a mentor for 6 months to just get individual training. And that's, I mean, you get to steer the ship on how that mentorship goes. And I mean, personally, my experience was super impactful. My mentor, Evelyn Geller in New York, really helped me learn how to network. And that was just like the square that I was at. But they strategically have this an organization set up so that we're getting that personal contact, that personal mentorship, and being thrown into these areas where there's so many advisors and these big ideas being shared at conferences. So it's an incredible mission, and I'm so grateful. I don't know if you know Jamie Hopkins, but he's the founder of FinServ, and Victoria O'Toole is the director right now.
Yeah, I'm going to have Jamie on the podcast pretty soon here, which I'm really
Oh,
excited
no
about.
way. Oh, he's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm
Oh,
really
he's
excited
fun.
about that. And tell me, Emery, what excites you about this industry? Like, why did you choose this as kind of your future path?
Well, I think growing up, I saw a lot of things that I would do differently, which is kind of funny because at a young age, I didn't really connect the dots that maybe I would make different financial decisions than my parents. But I just observed a lot of different situations with my family versus everyone else, and how, a lot of my friends actually had their college paid for by their parents, and my parents never said that was an option. So little things like this kind of just made my brain kind of wonder. And when I found out there was this career financial planning, I was like, I want to be this expert and not only just learn for myself and make the impact in my generations to come, but to others, and just spread this financial literacy and really help bridge this gap for people to really have a fulfilling life because of being aligned in their finances and their values.
Hmm. So knowing that the average age of advisors right now is between 55 to 56, what does that mean to you? Like, what does that tell you about the industry and maybe your peers as well?
Well, I think that there's a really big opportunity to, next gen advisors and these wise advisors to get together and really conquer industry issues. Our fresh perspectives, like having an intern or, an early career professional paraplanner come into your firm and ask questions on like why you do things a certain way, I think has a lot of power. And a lot of people might not initially think that because, you're building trust with working with a new employee, especially than being, in college or a college graduate. It can be a barrier to really want to give them opportunities to work with your clients. But just specifically at my firm, I'm with Carson Wealth right now, and I love my boss's approach. Like he specifically like engages me in these conversations and will ask me specific questions about my perspective, and that means a lot to me. But then on the flip side of it, I obviously don't have years of experience. I don't know situations and strategies as well as these advisors do. So they can, depending on the advisor and the situation, if they have time, like I get, extra training, but also just seeing how they work with the clients and their body language. There's just so much value, I think, both ways. And especially with AI, this great wealth transfer, these different things that are coming up, I think the best way to conquer these things is to pair us together and
Mhm.
not just be in our own lands and not talk and not converse on these issues.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I think one thing that's really concerning in this industry is that the attrition rate for new advisors entering the industry is quite high. And I think that's true for new advisors who are entering the industry, and it's also true for women advisors who are entering the industry. So I'm wondering if you have any things you can share around that.
Yeah, so I think retention is an issue. And Hannah Moore specifically really targeting on how to bridge that gap with her externship and offering support there, which I loved doing that externship. But I do, like, as an early professional, kind of walking in, I'm only in my first year in the industry, and I do see why people don't stay long, because there's a lot to comprehend. And it's really easy to get discouraged, but I find it really interesting. There was a study done by FinServ this past summer with FP Transitions where they looked into what advisors, next gen advisors are looking for. And 55% of them said that they, in the next 5 to 10 years, they plan to either be a partner at a firm or start their own business. And I think that shows a lot of kind of our momentum that we have with like AI and seeing that these early entry positions are going to be automated and replaced first. So it kind of makes us want to rise to the occasion and see, do what we can, learn what we can, but then also move to other areas in the firm and add value where maybe it's not there all the time and actually different things too. But I don't know, getting those growth opportunities from firms can really help us get confidence in our abilities to be a future advisor, even if that is later down the road that we're going to be, as great as them. But I think that just
Yeah.
having that trust would really help.
Yeah. Well, and let's dig into a little bit of why is the attrition rate as high as it is? What do you see as being some specific challenges that young advisors face? Is it going out and getting new business? Is it not feeling valued or supported in the industry? What do you think are the specific reasons?
I think there's definitely a mix. From my perspective, I don't see as many people being encouraged to go have their own book of business. I think that there's been a shift of, if anything, people are like, go look to buy a book or, do other marketing things, but not really as much eat with what you kill. But there's so many opportunities entering this industry, which is so amazing, but also can be really intimidating because, I mean, there's which direction do you go? Like, do you want to work at an IRA? Do you want to do a broker? What do you want to do? I think that's a big question of like identity. And obviously the 20s is like when you're kind of figuring out what you want, but that can also be discouraging, I guess, if like you feel like you make the wrong turn. And I think that's why a mentorship really comes in. And I'm a really big fan of having like a personal board of directors. And I think that every young advisor should have a personal board just to bounce ideas off. And, you can give like, quote unquote, like role to each person you have where, someone's going to be more blunt. Maybe someone else is going to validate you more. And so you strategically lean on those when you need to as you're getting into the industry. But I don't know. I think it is kind of a challenge to not only like navigate those challenges, but also have the training to be successful. But I really admire a lot of our industry leaders that are working towards jumping on these issues to help really support us as we are learning. Because you look back and you went through a phase like this as well.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes time, I think, too.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think are some mistakes that more seasoned advisors might make in their own practices or in their own firms that is not creating both these bonds with next gen advisors and maybe supporting them the ways that they need to be supported in order to stick around in the industry and really take over for advisors as they're retiring?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. I think a lot of advisors don't create the space for conversations to come up. And I get it. Like everybody is busy. And there's so many things that are pulling advisors' attention. But just in my firm, for an example, I have this incredible mentor who I love to look at his style as like a fiduciary mentorship where he's truly invested in me and my growth. And he gives me an hour of his time a week, which is a lot. And I understand that and I value and I come prepared. I'm making sure I'm not taking advantage of or disservicing his time that he's given me. But that is a perfect space for me to come in and get training that I need. And there's so many areas where, like I said, I've kind of just like dove in, but there's so many, like just with going through educations to like learning, I haven't even taken my investments class, and investments is a huge part of our work that we do. And so getting this one-on-one time not only helps me feel so supported and heard just as a person, but I'm able to learn more about the work. I can ask those individual questions that maybe I felt stupid asking in front of everybody. And I have more time to slow down and really pick apart a client solution. So I think that advisors don't always make room for those conversations, or they don't ask the right questions. Like, I think that personally, if I was an advisor, like in, several years ahead, and I could look back and give myself advice now, I'd say like, know what your next gen advisors are looking to do and see how you can support them. Like maybe I have this goal that I'm trying to achieve. And if they don't know how to support me. And I think that it's kind of hard. I guess like from my perspective, I wouldn't want to come up and just share my goal unless it was natural. But I think I'd feel so appreciated and heard and loved if like, yeah, they came to me and were like, what do you want to do? Where are you headed next? Which I do have that experience now, which I'm grateful for. But yeah, so just creating the space and asking the right questions.
I love that. Another question that I have for you. So you are currently a college student working towards your degree, and you're working in a firm as well. So you're really getting prepared in two very different ways. If you were just a college student, just focusing on your degree, what do you think you would be missing from working in a firm? Like what are the extra things that you're learning being on the ground, so to speak?
Yeah, so much. Because I think school, like it's really good at helping you memorize different
Mhm.
ways and get a little taste into what the industry could be. But it has been a world of a difference since I've actually seen client situations and worked in software. And I mean, I'm taking a fintech class right now where I'm exploring all these softwares, but it's so different when you actually have the experiential side of it and put faces to it. Like I said, I think I alluded to this at the beginning. I love this industry because of the people. And school doesn't give you that aspect. And, Hannah Moore actually pointed out in a study that she did with her externship last year that 90 to 95% of people join the industry because of wanting to help people. And you don't really get that taste in school just because, I mean, it's school. You're just in
Right.
textbooks and they do a really great job with the curriculum, but I don't think you can ever really replicate what a real life person is going through. And especially those moments as an advisor where you get to see a shift in them and see the emotions come out and also see how you deal with hard situations. I No, it's definitely something I just couldn't replicate just being a student. And I'm so grateful that I have been able to get into the industry and learn these things with school.
I really love that too. And I think it's so important for advisors to think about not only like how can I connect with and support recent college grads, but even before they graduate, like how can we bring people in and start those conversations and really act as mentors to them? Can you give some examples of what you do in the firm on a day-to-day basis and just how are they bringing you in and providing you with work and also giving you that on the ground experience?
Yeah, well, I will say as a disclaimer, I think I have a unique situation because my firm wasn't hiring when I joined.
Mhm.
So I asked them if I could do an unpaid internship and then prove to them that be worth hiring.
Mhm.
So initially, I kind of just like shadowed and I really just like had that can do attitude. Like I'd be in all these meetings and they'd just be like, "Can I do that? Okay, I
Mhm.
think I can do that." Someone might need to, double check my work, obviously, but I just loved being like, let me do it. Put me in.
Mhm.
And that kind of helps create my role today. So I guess the previous intern that was there, he's now left, but when we were there together, he did a lot of like the client reviews and I kind of was there as well in it, but it
Mm.
just was harder when that was like his main job. So I naturally actually shifted to bouncing around in several areas where I did a little bit of marketing, planning client events, just building kind of like relationships there, but then also working on the client reviews. So now I guess that was like the first phase. Second phase, now I'm fully doing client reviews and I'm just kind of like that first line of defense for the advisors. I go through all the data and software and then put things in a sheet, write down notes, all of my thoughts if there's things I'm noticing. And that's kind of fun because you feel
Mm.
like you're advisor, even though it's going to get a lot deeper. And
Mhm.
then I pretty much present my information to the advisor. They go a lot deeper, but they typically keep the agenda I built and then just, yeah, add more to it, which I love because it kind of gives me that, like I said, I feel like I'm an advisor and I feel like I have that responsibility of my growth is not capped. If I had all the skills and I just like had all the knowledge and experience to be an advisor, I could do the whole thing and then pass it off for a double check. That's kind of their mindset is like, we're not going to stop you. We're just going to I mean, I have like a time frame. They don't want me spending 5 hours. That's not efficient. But then it's also brought in this interesting role where I'm now shifting now a little bit to finding out how I can replace myself, which is funny. But like
Mm.
I just went to T3 last week and there were so many things I loved about that conference. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we use Zapier. And that was just one of the softwares that was mentioned to automate things. And just seeing real life application. And now I have my list of kind of things I'm going to start experimenting with to kind of help bring more efficiencies in the firm that way. So a mix of things. I wouldn't say that every internship is like that, but that's just been my
Mhm.
experience with Carson Wealth and my location, and just I guess the kindness that they have and trust in letting me kind of do several things and be creative.
You're such a go-getter, Emery. I really appreciate that about you. And I think that there's this very big misconception from older generations that your generation and my generation are not as hardworking as previous generations. And you're just such a good example of how wrong that misconception is.
Thank
So
you. So
I
kind.
appreciate that. Yes. The other thing I want to ask you is what are you excited about in terms of AI coming into the industry? And is there anything that you're not excited about?
Yes, that's a double-edged sword. I am super excited about the opportunity to add value other places of the firm. I understand that every person has to go through their steps to get where they want, but especially me, I think I have a lot of ambition. And so I'm looking at this finish line of what I want to be, like this amazing advisor. And I'm like, hey, what can I do today to get there? And I don't know, just like getting really embracing and just trying to figure out how to get there. And so in this generation, I feel like with the career path changing and that the corporate ladders collapsing with AI coming in and taking those entry level roles, there raises this opportunity to why not help with that? And I think that people would challenge me on that. Maybe that's kind of scary to try, and maybe your firm would fire you after you replaced yourself. But with the relationships I have with the people around me, I have full faith that if I replace myself, they're just going to promote me. They're going to put me in a different area. Maybe they're going to push me to get licensed fast so that I can start working with the clients. I don't know, whatever it is. I haven't necessarily brainstormed these ideas all the way, but I love that there's an opportunity to give those mundane tasks to AI.
Hmm.
And on the other side of it, though, I think there's that fear that I have deep down of like, what happens if AI just continues to evolve and it does replace advisors? Like, what would happen then? I don't fully believe that because I think that the human connection is just so needed that there's no way that people are going to be okay with just using like robo advice. Like even seeing what's already been released and people's reactions, people are so slow to actually adapt to new ideas like this. And so
Right.
that's kind of opened my eyes and I'm like, it will be a long time. And especially thinking of, is AI going to have to get like designations? Like, are they going to have to be fiduciary to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, that's so far out. But I mean, it is a fear. Like, of course, I don't want to feel like I am going to be replaced, but I don't know. I guess I don't have that yet, but I think that it's on the radar that it could shift that way.
Yeah, I think what's so great about organizations like FinServ is that it does really bring awareness and promote the fact that older seasoned advisors need to be investing in the younger generation as some of these quote unquote like entry level roles maybe get taken over by AI. But if advisors can come in earlier and really develop the younger next gen advisors in these early years, I mean, I just don't see I think it's critical that's what needs to happen. And as these younger advisors can make use of AI tools to even make themselves more efficient, that development over time, that path to development, I think will get shorter as well as they come in. So I'm very hopeful about the future. I think there's so much fear mongering around. And I mean, who doesn't have fear that their job is going to get replaced by AI? I think everyone has some level of that fear. So I appreciate your honesty there. And as long as we're all aware of this and working against it, I think hopefully all the outcomes will be positive.
Yes, for sure.
So, Emery, I think there are a lot of advisors out there who really want to support next gen younger financial planners, wealth managers, and advisors who are coming into the industry. How can they tell if their firm is set up to support that next gen?
That's a great question. I kind of alluded to this earlier, but really understanding what that advisor, the next gen advisor's next step is in the industry, I think is so important. If you know what their goals are, you know how to support them. So
Mm.
just being in the know of that. And then second, I think that creating a space and a time for honest, open feedback really helps, you be on the same page. I feel like we're a very open, honest generation. So having those spaces where they can give that feedback and then having you turn and apply it, I think is going to not only build trust, but it's also going to help you see like that fresh eye perspective on your processes and your firm and help the advisor feel like they're more a part of the team and more like they're taking on more responsibility in the sense to have kind of that not obligation, but excitement to help elevate the firm. And then lastly, I think making sure that there's other ways to add value in the firm besides doing the tasks that AI is going to replace. Because just long term, as this corporate ladder is those jobs, if they're all going to be replaced, all those tasks that they're doing, if they're going to be replaced within the next 5 years, that experience pretty much means nothing. And so being able to show, giving them that side, having them do those tasks, but also looking around the firm to see where else they can add value is going to help them grow more as an advisor as they're getting to grow in these other areas as well.
I love that, Emeri. As you were talking through point number 2, giving them an opportunity to give feedback, I see that on my own team. I'm a mid-millennial, and I just hired last year a recent college grad who's Gen Z on my team. And she has said that to me before. She said, what I love about working for you is that you ask me for ideas and then you actually implement them. And that makes me feel so valued. And I think that truly is so important for your generation. And so I would almost, I'm in marketing, so I'm adjacent to the industry, right? But I would almost say, from my experience at least, that's like one of the most important things that firm owners or senior advisors can do is ask their younger generation for feedback and ideas and then implement those.
I love that. And I think you pointed out such a good point with that value that it's like, it's moving the mindset from them being, a checkbox doing those jobs just and getting to see how they can truly help build and help elevate,
Right.
which I think is so important.
Right.
That's amazing.
Right.
I'm so glad that you do that.
Thank you. Me too. And truly, because she comes with such fresh ideas. I mean, her ideas have truly improved what we're able to do for clients and how we market ourselves and all of those things. So I think it really is just this like beautiful opportunity to collaborate and just kind of knock down that notion that experience is always better. Sometimes I think as you get more experienced, you build a box around yourself and it's harder to change and adapt and meet, what's needed at the moment. So
yeah, I'm curious, what's some advice that she's given that you guys have taken?
So just from internally, she's given us really good ideas of like how to strengthen our team bonds and how to get ownership from more members of the team. And because we all work virtually and remotely, I'm the only one in Colorado. There's 2 in Georgia. There's 1 in Arizona. There's 1 in Virginia. And so she's had really great ideas around how we can like develop closer team bonds and how we can collaborate more as a team. And then from the marketing side, she's really helped me understand because most of my marketing happens on LinkedIn and that's where a lot of my prospects are. But I've always wanted to have this Instagram presence as well because I think there's just opportunities there. And so she's had some really great ideas around how not can we just repurpose our content and show up on Instagram, but have better content that's better suited for Instagram that we would never post on LinkedIn. And so we have these really like separate platforms in our marketing ecosystem that work differently, but are both effective. And so I think that's been really good for me as well. Just as a marketer, I mean, yes, I spend time on Instagram, like I'm a millennial, but just to have that like Gen Z perspective, I feel like she can go a little bit deeper. And so that's also influenced how I talk to our clients around this is the kind of thing that does really well on LinkedIn. And this is what you can do with your Instagram to have platforms that complement each other and not just repeat each other, if that makes sense.
Yes. I love that. And that's so neat that it was like a strength for, I feel like Instagram is a strength for Gen Z.
Yeah.
That's so awesome that you're carrying those different things. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. My last question that I thought of was, what are some ways, do you know of ways that advisors can get involved, even if their firm is not ready to bring in an intern or to hire a junior advisor yet at this point, but they still want to be a part of developing next gen advisors? What are some other ways that they might be able to get involved?
Well, depending on location, if there's a university nearby, obviously reaching out to even the finance programs, because there's not a ton of financial planning programs,
Hmm.
but even just kind of seeing, because a lot of people don't know about wealth management space, but also, and say you are in an area that's more populated with people who know about wealth management for next generation, I think it's an incredible opportunity to host a lunch with like 10 students, or, like a Q&A lunch, or have everybody come do a firm tour, maybe a job shadow, and maybe not with client information, but kind of just like replicating different things you would do. Anything that gets them, I think, out of like school and into a new location with an advisor. Or FinServ, like I had pointed out, we do a 6-month mentorship program. And that's an easy way that you can get paired with somebody who is in the wealth management space. And it's like a 6-month, there's different cycles of how busy people are. So you can even just participate in one cycle, however much you can commit. Those are just the top things that come to my head. But I really think just creating the spaces and inviting, because when people are invited to area, that means a lot to us to even see that someone is trying. So
Yeah, I love that. Well, Emery, if anybody wants to connect with you or learn more about you, where are the best places for them to do that?
I'm on all social media, but specifically LinkedIn is where I do my financial planning content, as a student. And so, yeah, my LinkedIn is just Emeri G. Johnson. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Well, I will put that in the show notes. Thank you so much, Emery, for coming on and having this conversation. I think it's such an important one, and I really appreciate you sharing your perspective.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Finance Marketing Podcast. If you're eager to market your business in a way that feels good and actually gets results, sign up for the Finance Marketing Podcast newsletter in the show notes so you never miss another episode. If you liked what you heard today, please be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening app and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll see you back here next Friday.